So I wanted to introduce myself first. I know we've been talking through email a little bit, but my name's Jessica, obviously you know that. I joined a couple other residents to put together a Facebook page called Midlothian Voters Block, which is pretty much just us sharing information regarding the candidates. The Q&As that I've been emailing to you and you've been responding to, I post on there. And it's a way for us to be able to just share information from like your guys' page for the campaign. Gary's slate, we share Maldonado's slate, whatever, or his, I don't know, that wouldn't be a slate, but any information we have, we share on there. So thank you for agreeing to do the interview.
You're welcome.
So the first question, we'll get right into it, is who are you? Tell me about yourself, your family, any information you have.
First of all, since we've been talking a little bit prior to this, you know that I'd like to talk, but I hope when I do talk, I have something to say. I want to thank you and your group, your organization, for taking the time out to get to meet the candidates. Not only to get to meet them, but to go ahead and be very honest and transparent when you put this out on Facebook, because I think every one of the residents deserves to know who may potentially represent them. Mm-hmm. And they can understand, digest that information, and then they can go ahead and make an educated vote. A vote that means something to them, because any vote that means something to them means something to me. So my name is Ralph Ginn. I'm a dentist. I've been a dentist for the last 38 years. I spent 8 years at Loyola University where I received my bachelor's degree and also my dental degree. I've ran my own practice for the last 35 years. The first 3 years after I had gotten out of dental school, I had worked in different parts of the city, different suburbs, gathering information to help my profession and help me professionally grow. I started off in Country Club Hills, stayed there about 15 years, and then moved my practice to Tinley Park, which now my practice is in Tinley Park. I've been there for the last 20 years, 5 years at the new location. I'm married. I live in Midlothian for the last 13 to 14 years. 3 wonderful children and 7 grandchildren, what I'm very proud of. I'm a family man. That's the number one thing in my life is my family. I'm a community guy. Though this is the first time that I've been involved in politics, I feel it to myself that if I didn't get involved, then I wish I should have, could have, would have in the future. And hopefully I can bring some of not only my values, but I can express the values of the residents of Midlothian. I have a dog named Pete.
What kind of dog?
He's a Boston Terrier. He's a great dog, and like I say, there's nothing better than walking down the street when you walk a dog and you meet the people on your block. And number one, community, and I think that's the way to go. So basically, that's it.
Awesome. So, and I'm state, could you reiterate, how long have you been a resident and where did you live previously?
Been a resident for about 13, 14 years. I lived on 151st Street in Oak Forest, just a couple blocks east of Cicero.
Okay.
We were there about 15 years. And then we were there because my wife's parents had lived down the block, and they lived in Midlothian. Mm-hmm. They lived about 11 doors down. And I tell you, we were so happy with the services, Midlothian, the fire department, the police department. They took care of mom and dad, and they took care of the community. So one morning, about 13, 14 years ago, I said, we have to move. And my wife said, well, where do you want to move? So I drew a circle, and the circle was around Midlothian. Mm-hmm. I said that's the thing that I had looked for is again the services that it provides, not just for families but for older residents as well. It's secure. Mm-hmm. There's places to shop, easy to get to, and it was close to the practice. So we had done that, and within I think 3 or 4 days, my wife had found a house, and we sold our house and we moved in.
Well, that was quick.
It was quick.
And then you were talking about you being a dentist. Can you reiterate again, how long have you been a dentist? And do you have any fun stories, i.e. have you ever been bit?
First of all, I've been a dentist 38 years. A day doesn't go by that I don't get bit. Now, we've got some good technology in our office. So we've got a camera. We can take pictures of your teeth or whatever. So I have what I call the thumb club in our office. So when I'm in somebody's mouth and they bite me, and I go, ouch, I'll take my glove off and I will take a picture of the teeth marks in my thumb, and it will go in the record. So every once in a while that happens, but the day doesn't go by, I don't get bit or whatever. But you know, we don't rush our patients in and out of our office.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we consider them our dental family. As I'm talking to you now, I talk to them. And when I talk to them, I don't only just say what we're doing, how we're doing it, you know, the informed consent stuff. What I do is I also listen to them. And those people that we see, and I can't tell you how many active patients, I can't even tell you how many patients I've seen over 38 years. But when they come in, they express their concerns, not only their family concerns, their health concerns, they also tell me about their social concerns, their community concerns. You know, doc, you know what bothers me? And again, that doesn't make me an expert on the situation at all, but it gets me thinking. Why does this bother you? What can I do to help you? If I'm treating your dental health, maybe we can get together, we can do things. So I had got involved in a lot of volunteer organizations over the time, involved with the Knights of Columbus over here at St. Christopher. I also did a volunteer thing, a fundraiser called Real Men Wear Pink. That was, I don't know, are you familiar with that?
Is that through the breast cancer awareness?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So you sign up, and what you do, you got to wear pink every day, and you ask for donations. So we did it. All staff was involved in it. It was great, and actually we did a thing at the end of it where I dyed my hair pink at our little get together afterwards. This was prior to COVID. And so that makes me feel good. And the reason why I had done that, because I had several patients that were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah.
And to me, in order to go ahead and resolve an issue, that you're not going to get everything resolved, but what you have to make awareness of it. And if you really are passionate about something, become aware, educate yourself, and then make other people aware, and then you can make a change.
Yeah.
You really can. So it was a fun story. We got everybody involved, and we're waiting to get involved in something else. Of course, COVID has kind of put the brakes on everything, but that's not stopping us from thinking about things.
Awesome. How do you know Karen and Jerry, and what made you team up with them?
Okay, I know Jerry through his family. His father is very active in the community. I've made a connection with him when I had joined the Knights of Columbus. And he had given me a phone call, and he said, Doc, you still want to get in politics? And I said, Jerry, tell you the truth, I don't think I ever told you I wanted to get in politics. He goes, well, I've got something that may be good for you and may be good for the village of Midlothian. He goes, I like you because your enthusiasm, your energy, and what you do when you put your mind to something, that you can get it done and you get other people motivated. So he gave me Karen's phone number. He said, would you like to team up with Carrie and Jerry? So I knew that Karen was a trustee, and I knew that his son Jerry was a trustee. And I said, well, I'm not going to get involved with anybody or anything until I talk to them. I'm just not going to put my name on the label and without knowing what the ingredients are.
Yeah.
So I immediately gave Karen a call, and she knew Liz's family from way back when. And she was very genuine on the phone, and after talking to her and expressing what my concerns were and what my thoughts or philosophy was, she had the same concerns, the same thoughts, the same philosophy. And she told me she is a trustee for 24 years. She's very active with the water project here in Midlothian, also the paved parkway that we have over by the American Legion. She's involved with that and other things. And I know that Jerry Gillis Jr., another guy, he's just a lot of history with the community, firefighter. He's the trustee of the fire department. And I'm telling you what, I'm so proud of the fire department here in Midlothian and the police department. Everything that has gone through in the last 2 years here, nobody should be criticized the way that things are handled. Unbelievable. And so, with that history and those ethics that they have, I said, to me, it's an honor. Thank you for asking me. And I had told Karen and Jerry, I said, I've never been elected to anything. I mean, other than, Friends of the Library or something like that. I'd never been delved into politics. And they said, you know what, Doc, you're refreshing. You're excited, and that's something what we need. What we need to do is to look back at the history of Midlothian, where we were at, where we are, and then what the future is going to bring.
Yes.
And to me, this was a great opportunity, and as I told my wife, she goes, you sure you want to do this? I said, you know what? If I don't do it, I'm going to be kicking myself in the pants for not trying.
Yes.
So whether I get elected or not, which I'm not doing this to not get elected, it makes me more aware of what our community needs, what it's doing, and the passions of other people.
And then you get to meet people like me.
I didn't get to meet people like you, and I tell you what, and like I told you, a breath of fresh air. Most of the time people find, oh, what do you do you're a dentist. The first thing, and of course people talk to me now because they all have masks on.
Yeah.
But they've been seeing me with a mask on for years.
Yeah. I'm gonna just check, make sure this is still going since I'm new to this. Okay. And then to go along with that,
Yes.
you guys were not on the original ticket together, right? Everybody ran individually?
Right, so let me, all I can do is speak for myself. So everybody out there, just please, the questions that Jessica's answering, I'm answering for myself.
Yes.
I'm not answering anybody else's questions. Everybody, again, has an opinion or a concern. The reason why I'm on this ticket with Jerry and Karen is because they feel the same things I feel about Midlothian. We're passionate about where we live. We want to preserve what we have, but at the same time, make those controlled changes for the future.
Yeah.
Because change is coming. People don't like change. There was a village official of a surrounding town that they went ahead and they cut garbage collection or something that went on, leaf collection. People are upset. People were waiting in line. They wanted to throw bags of leaves at Village Hall. Don't change that.
Yeah.
That's not the change I'm talking about. In order to preserve our future, the change is coming, but we can control the changes. In other words, open up your arms, open up your thoughts to have it the same way it's been like this. And when we have Black Lives Matter, we have the Me Too movement, and we have COVID. We have all these things that we have been hit with in the last year and a half. None of these movements should be disregarded. What we should do is to learn from what we didn't do prior to that and how we can control our changes so we can handle situations like this, social, economic situations. So let us get ready for the changes, but with controls. So I got involved with them on the ticket, and it wasn't that there was somebody else on the ticket that dropped off. As far as my knowledge goes, Karen was running for village president.
Yeah, you guys all ran independently, right?
Right, we're running independently.
Yes.
So my thing is like, and I back Karen 110%, I back Jerry 110%, and I don't know what the village would do without them, to be quite honest with you. So I asked Karen, well, what if you don't get elected and I get elected? She goes, good luck, trustee. And I didn't know what independent was or things like that. It doesn't mean that Karen's not behind what I do. She is, otherwise I wouldn't be associated, or she wouldn't let me associate with her.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a great compliment. Thank you, Karen. So I'm running as an independent. And I tell people, I'm not running against anybody. I'm running to fill this vacant seat that Karen is leaving and moving up to village president. When people say, and it might be one of your questions, but I'm going to jump ahead anyway, well, what do you think about the current administration? I say, I think the current administration is doing a good job for what they have to work with. Like I said before, I can't discount anybody for their achievements. Especially if you had a struggle and it took this long to get a TIF district, if it did that, thank you very much. I think that's awesome. The issue that I have, and after seeing the village meetings and things like that, is that I think we have to be more cohesive. We have to reach across the aisle. We have to, COVID, can't shake hands, bump elbows, fist pump, or whatever. But we have to realize that we can get more done by working together. We all have our own visions, our own passions. We have all these things. But who are we not to get into a room and sit down and come up with a great idea, a great solution, representing the people of Midlothian and getting things done in a good way, rather than arguing and doing this and then just gets pushed off. We're not going to try to outdo each other.
Yeah.
What we're going to try to do is make Midlothian the best it possibly can be, and outdoing everybody else. And with that vision, you can't go wrong. So that's how I am. I'm running as an independent, but I'll be honest with you, I want to be hand in hand with Jerry and Karen.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, they really have put a lot of effort and love in this community, and that's something we really can't dismiss. Other trustees, or village president, or the village clerk, they've all have hearts of gold when it comes to Midlothian. But you know what? Let's compromise. Let's go ahead, let's get things done. Let's show the residents that they put their faith in us by giving us that valued vote. And let's go ahead and respect them. And let's get things done.
Awesome. What is, in your opinion, the best aspect of Midlothian?
Oh, let me see. This, Jessica, is a no-brainer. The best asset Midlothian has are the people. And with people come families. And with families comes communities, neighborhoods, parks. Bringing each other together. Being proud of our community. Not letting anybody say anything about this, what Midlothian is, this is Midlothian. Let's show other neighborhoods, other communities what Midlothian is. It's all about the people. And how do we keep these people here? How do we keep our families here? How do we bring new families in, young families? By providing the best services we possibly can. Police, fire, public works. How about the economy? What can we do for the economy? Let's get some shopping in here. Let's get, when people say shop Midlothian, be honest with you, okay, but you know what? I need a little bit more of a variety.
Yeah.
Okay, Midlothian now I think is, people from out of town come in, they get off the train, they're commuters, they do this, they get in their cars and they go. Let's help that area. And I'm telling everybody right now, when people say, whenever say, well, I know you have ideas about running and you might not want to share your ideas. I'll share all my ideas. Because I don't care who gets that idea, go ahead and get it done. I don't care if somebody it comes in, I don't even know them, because that's a great idea, I'm going to use it. Well, go ahead and use it. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, that's my idea, I want it back, I want credit for that. There are too many awards out there, and awards just lead to elitism as far as I'm concerned. Look at all the trophies I got. Well, that you're an elitist.
Yeah.
What about the people that try hard, the people that don't get recognition? Those are the people that make up this community. And those are the people that we want to recognize by respecting their vote. That's how I go. Sorry, I get very passionate when I speak. So again, it's about the people. It's the greatest asset we have. Let's protect that.
Yeah, absolutely. What has your involvement been within the community?
Within the community, well, just recently got involved with the community just within the last 6 months. Did a couple beautification things with it. I do talk to some of the people that are active in the community. I have not been active myself, definitely not politically active. This is my first politically active move. But what it does, it gets me more involved in the community. And one of your questions you had emailed a few weeks back is, what if you don't get elected? What are you going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is be more active in the community, because this has opened up my eyes. Just as opened up your eyes developing this organization to help the community. I can't sit here and say our greatest assets are families and people and not do anything to help that. So even if I don't get elected, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be more active in the community, because I'll tell you what, it's like just taking the blinders off. As far as that, I'm active with the church. I'm active with the Knights of Columbus that do a lot of volunteer work and a lot of donations to help people. We do the coffee house for special needs people. Of course, the Tootsie Roll Drive, St. Vinnie de Paul Food Pantry, as you saw when you came in, we're collecting food to help Dylan out, so Dylan could go ahead. A great young man, getting his whole program off his feet. That's a guy you gotta look out for in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen him every Christmas, right?
Right.
With the decorations and stuff.
What an inspiration.
Oh, absolutely. And he's still in high school, right?
He's still in high school. To get, we look at our leaders, and we always, in the past, especially when I was young, the older you were, the more experienced you were, and leadership. But again, change.
Yep.
What we're looking for, especially with our youth, is inspiration from youth.
Mm-hmm.
What direction are they going into with our guidance?
Mm-hmm.
We can't put up that gender barrier. We can't put up the black and brown barrier. We can't put up these years of experience barriers. That's not how we have to do it. What we have to do is go ahead and embrace everybody, gather inspiration from others.
Mm-hmm.
Not to go ahead and put people down for who or what they are. Not to go ahead and put people aside because we don't agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
What we have to do is to have that cohesiveness. And if you have that, nothing really can be stronger than that. So when you say, am I active in the community? Keep an eye on me.
That's a good response.
That's all I can say.
I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but the next question I had written down was, what made you run for trustee this year? And I'm going to just check on this one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what made you run for trustee this year?
There's a lot of things that, with that, and of course, the residents are going to understand if you see this guy. Boy, he does talk. Again, I hope I do say something when I talk. So there's a lot of aspects to that. What made me run for trustee is, number one, I've started to become more cynical when it comes to things, and I think it's, you don't see not middle class, but middle politics anymore. You either see right wing or you see left wing.
Yes.
And I think the middle is kind of disappeared, or not gone away, but with all the stuff that we have going on, the banks causing fraud, we've got the George Floyd, we've got COVID, we've got all the Weinstein, all this bad news that's going on, has forced people to take a stance. Well, this should be this way, or this should be this way. So when I say I'm in the middle, people say, well, you don't care? No, I do care. But the solution isn't to go ahead and do that or to do this. There's got to be a middle.
Yeah.
Again, bringing each other together. I don't want to say anything, but you're not going to remember this movie. This movie is from, I think, the 40s or the 50s. Okay, I don't remember the name of it. It's black and white. My kids won't watch black and white movies, neither will my wife. But it was about a town, and I don't know where the town was, somewhere in the Midwest. Some of our people that know what I'm talking about. But every time there came an election, the town just filled with reporters and pollsters and everything like this, because this town couldn't go wrong.
Yeah.
They were so middle politics. They took the top layer and the bottom layer off, and they knew the value of what they had. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to go ahead and ask this town who's the next governor or the next president, or what's your thoughts on this? Kind of like the nun who they asked who's going to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. You've heard that story? She always predicts the Super Bowl. Or they asked the polar bear in Lincoln Park Zoo. Or whatever ball of fish he starts nibbling on, mm-hmm. That's the winner. Well, that's what this story of this, and it got me to thinking. Do we really have that anymore? What we do is we pull people on the right, we pull people on the left, and that's the answer. What about the people like us who need leadership, who need to be educated? Mm-hmm. And that's what you're doing with your viewers. We need to go ahead and reach out to those people, find out what they want. Mm-hmm. Not what the right or left wants, but what we want here in Midlothian.
Absolutely. What roles does a trustee have, and what do you feel are the most important things you can do as a trustee?
Well, let's start with your second question there and work backwards. Sometimes that's easier.
Okay.
It's kind of like, you pour stuff into a funnel. Do you ever have the funnel turned over and you try to pour it in a small end of the funnel? Yeah, everybody else. So let's work backwards. So what was the second question?
What do you feel are the most important roles as a trustee?
Most important roles of the trustee, I feel, is to be responsible, flexible, communicative, and going ahead and expressing what the constituents, the residents' concerns are, what they like, what they don't like, bring them to the board. Also, to go ahead if the trustee is put into a position where they are, say, head of the parks or head of the fire, head of public works, if they're running the beautification committee, and so on and so on and so on. I think it's important that their role keeps people active, keep people motivated, keep that program motivated and active. And when you go to a meeting and the village president asks you, what do you have to add? And you say, nothing. I know that you had a meeting last week, but something had to have been done.
Yeah.
You had to field a phone call. You had to do something. I don't have anything. Are we doing that to make the meeting shorter, or we really don't have anything? Or if we don't have anything, what's ongoing? I talked about this 2 weeks ago, Mr. President or Ms. President. This is ongoing. These are still the concerns we're addressing, and I'll have more for you next week. Keep me informed. And of course, I'm not going to go back and mention some of the things at the meetings. Again, I've never been in that situation. I don't know what a village meeting is. I've been on boards before, but it could be totally different. But hopefully, being new to it, I can bring some of that to those village board meetings. And the first part of that question?
What roles do a trustee have? What do you do when you are a trustee?
Well, I think I can answer that, I'm not ignoring that question, but that's the role is to take pride, number one, in what you do. So no matter what you do, if it's something you don't like to do, take pride in it. Because it's not about you, Miss or Miss Trustee, it's about the residents, okay? I'm taking this position on as a trustee, not to satisfy myself, but help the community that I love and respect. And by doing that, what makes the community, what's our greatest asset, Jessica?
The residents.
The residents. It's all about the residents, doing the best thing for them, finding out what they need. And I don't know if any of your questions talk about commerce, or, I'd like to see more sustainable businesses in here. I know infrastructure is a big question. I'm all for it. But again, if we take all our monies and put it into that without bringing rejuvenating funds into it, being a dentist, I think 6 months ahead.
Yeah.
People go to the dentist every 6 months, okay? Well, I think 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years out ahead. Because we can't wait until we're in a position where, economy flattened, we don't have anything, we don't have any growth. Well, we can have different things, segmented growth, transitional growth.
Yeah.
We have growth right now, the opportunity's here, let's get going on it. Let's reach out to other businesses, other types of franchises or things like that. Let's get them in here, let's court them a little bit. But then we have what's transitional growth. Well, we have this, and Karen's been working on it with the land banks. Okay, we've got these buildings that are here, they're vacant. What's the tax situation? Transitional growth to Karen, and I agree with her totally on this. Okay, well, maybe we can't do anything but now, but she starts talking about it now, and that's what's important. I like that, because we're transitioning from a vacant building into an area that can benefit Midlothian. And then we can have what is called planned growth. What's planned growth? Well, these are our goals. And you talk to the trustees talk to the residents. What would you like to see happen in the next 5 to 10 years? Because I guarantee you nothing's going to happen in 6 months.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen in a year. Okay? But don't tell me like getting on an airplane, we're taking off in 5 minutes, we're waiting for another crew from Boston to come. Of course, then 10 minutes comes by, well, the crew from Boston should be right around the corner. Half hour comes on, well, the crew from Boston couldn't make it. Don't promise me something that you can't keep. And my wife is sitting right here, and she'll tell you, I keep my promises. Because when I promise something, I depend upon myself to get it done.
Yes.
When I promise on somebody else, then that makes me not look so good. So when we go ahead and we develop these goals, whether they're long-term, transitioning to something, or immediate response, immediate goals, then everybody has to be involved. Not one person, not 6 trustees, not 8 board members, but the whole village. And I tell you, it's a gift to listen to everybody and come up with the best plan. It's a gift to go ahead and make it better for everybody. You're not going to please everybody. The least thing a village trustee should do is to do something to please themselves. You should get satisfaction knowing that you're doing the best job for everybody every day. And I understand, I'm going to go home and say, gosh, I don't know, did I do a good job? Didn't I do a good job? I don't know, maybe it was, you know what? That's a good trustee.
Yeah.
When they can't sleep at night sometimes, because they know they can always do better. And again, my children aren't here and my grandchildren aren't here, but I'm going to tell you, Papa, why do you always think you can make it better? I might not be able to make it better, but when you stop thinking you can't make it better, then you become complacent. And that's not what I'm about. I'm always about trying to do something.
Well, and I think the one thing that I learned within the last 6 months that I never knew before is almost like the Board of Trustees has more power than I believe that even the mayor does. Because it's more, because as far as, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the trustees are the ones that do the voting, and the mayor only does the voting once it needs a tie.
Right. You know what, I don't want to interrupt you. If I am, just let me know. I can't agree with you more. And the thing is, it's not about empowering a group. The mayor's role, the president's role, I think is more of a leadership role to go ahead. And I would certainly think that after I get more involved and I do get elected, I'm talking positive here, is that we'll know exactly what the mayor's role is, and as trustees to make sure that the mayor is allowed to do their role, not to hinder them in any way. Now, you may not agree with the mayor, but then again, what your choice is, number one, you vote on it, right? And your vote is not your individual vote, it's the vote of the people that put you in office. That's what important is. And I think more can get done when you don't have that, where it's more controlled this way, and the mayor's sitting there. And of course, if the mayor's hands are tied, the mayor's hands are tied. So you have to go ahead and bring this energy back that's saying that your vote does matter, your ideas do matter. We can get more done working together rather than fighting across the desk. I mean, not that it happens on every Zoom meeting, things are resolved. Is everything going to get done the way Ralph Ginn wants to get it? Definitely not. But if it benefits the community, it benefits me. Because what's our greatest asset?
The residents.
The residents, there you go.
Absolutely. And then I just want to remind, because this is sitting down here, I don't know if it's going to pick up all the noise.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I just don't want it to be overpowering over your, hearing you talk, and then what role, oh no, we did that one. What are your goals as a trustee, and what strengths do you have to reach those goals?
Okay, my goals as the trustee, again, is to go ahead and to the best of my ability, to go ahead and get the best for Midlothian, the best services, fire, police, and I think we've got really good services now. The best schools, which the schools aren't really Midlothian, but it's the school district, to get more involved with the school districts. Okay, I know that there's separate taxing bodies on the school districts. How much tax money we get from that, I don't know. Also, as a rule as a trustee is to bring up suggestions and ideas of economy. I think we talked about sustainable businesses, given the residents of Midlothian a reason not to leave. Let's not give them reasons to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just moving out. I'm talking about shopping, doctors. You know, a health clinic, or bringing in a group of doctors, general practitioners to provide services for people. Not everybody can get into a car and run to Ingalls Hospital or run to the urgent aid out in Tinley Park. You know, where do we have that here? You know, of course, we might have a minute clinic or something like that, but being a healthcare professional, that's great. But I think we could provide better healthcare services when it comes to that. Talking about, I know, and people take me wrong, but I got to just be honest with you. To bring in just the business to fill an empty storefront, I guess in some of these malls, like Tiffany Place, that's great. You know, they're doing well. But if we have a prime piece of commercial property, let's not grab the first guy off the street to fill that property. Let's see what they can bring to Midlothian. Instead of Midlothian, okay, you know, what can you do for Midlothian?
Yeah.
To me, that is important. And then we discuss it. And then we come by and we compromise. And we talked about this again, negotiating is a wonderful thing. Okay? And what's my biggest asset? I'm approachable. I keep my word on what I do. I follow the rules, whether I agree with them or not. Okay? And people always say, I like so-and-so because they tell me like it is. Well, you know what? I don't think that's appropriate. You can't just say what you think. There's repercussions for your words. There's repercussions for your actions. So before you talk, before you act, think about that. Because being a trustee of Midlothian, you're taking on responsibilities. And you cannot just walk in one day and say, I don't like this. They looked at me funny and walk out. You can't be that. Respect is a selfish thing. Because people say, I deserve respect. I deserve respect. Well, I think I deserve a lot of things, but that's selfish. You know, there's something to say when our parents say you earn respect. What I'm going to say is you earn a reputation. And now that I am 63 years old, I've been a dentist for 38 years, went 8 years of Loyola, taught me a lot, not just about doing the best I possibly can. Education is very important to me. My faith is very important to me. So before I act, I reflect. Because it will come back to you. And whether it comes back to you in a week or 25 years. I've met guys I haven't seen since college. And I'll be very honest and very frank. Ralph, I haven't seen you in 45 years. No, I haven't. You know, and then you're sucking your stomach in and you're covering your bald spot and that. Do you remember that day? And I go, no, I don't. But you know what? What I'm trying to say is that your reputation starts. And somewhere down the line, somebody's going to bring something up, you know, and shame on them. Because we've all been there. So what I'm saying is, being a trustee is being responsible not only for the village residents, not only responsible for your decisions, but most importantly, being responsible for yourself. Because if you can't be responsible for yourself, you have no place in representing me in Midlothian.
Absolutely. That was something I think my mom early on taught me, was even just being who you surround yourself around. If you're not surrounding yourself with good people, you're associated with those.
Hold this. Unbelievable. Again, I want to interrupt you, but I'm going to tell you this. I tell everybody else, well, you're the doctor. Well, you're this, you're this. And my old children, my daughter's a clinical psychologist, by the way, so it's just, everything I do is a little different to her. But my thing is, I tell people this. You are only as good as who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Oh, Doc, you're a great dentist. It's not just me. It's Natalie, it's Rachel, it's Cindy, it's Nancy, it's Liz, it's the people you surround. If you surround yourself with confident, successful people, you will be successful. Now, there's situations where you're sitting around people that aren't confident, and they elect you. Your job is to put self-confidence in people. You'll be surprised if you probably know this already. you have somebody shy or something like that, and you know, they you think maybe they want to be recognized enough, but you know what, if you embrace that person, bring them on the beautification committee, have them start joining some of this volunteer stuff that we do, you'll be surprised how those people blossom.
Yep.
And to me, that's one of the things that I think I'm good at, and I'm not patting myself on the back because I'm not like that. I do not like accolades, trust me. If it's my birthday, I'll send somebody else to pretend they're me. I don't want that recognition. But that's one of the things I take pride in myself, is that I can take somebody who has potential. And even if they kind of like fight against it or no, I don't want to do that, then what we do is we find out what you can do.
Yeah.
And then we go ahead and make you really confident what you can do. And then when you get to that point, try something else. Right? When you were younger, your parents were trying to give you some funny looking food. Oh, go on, just try it once. And I don't even like it. Try it once. I don't like that job. Try it once. You're good at it. Right?
Absolutely. Why should, I'm going to check right after I ask this again. I don't want to be talking for this long and it not record. Why should the residents vote for you? What makes you a better candidate?
Well, I can't say, first of all, I'm not going to say I'm a better candidate. I don't know the other candidates. I don't know what type of skills they have. I don't know if they've been involved in politics before. So I can't say I'm a better candidate. That would be unfair to the other candidates. So I'm not here to do that. I don't judge people. I think judgment isn't right. And if people want to judge me, that's okay. Set up a meeting with me at ralphginnDDS@gmail.com, and I will meet you in person, and then you can judge me. Why I want people to vote for me is, again, I just got done saying, do I want this job? Yeah, I want this job. Give me a chance. I'll be very good at it. I'm proud of what I do, and I can take the people in Midlothian that have been quiet, that maybe they don't vote. Maybe they don't want to get involved. But you know what? I'm going to give you a chance to do that. We're going to do more of an outreach to the residents of Midlothian. And I know it's been tough. You know, I can't say anything with COVID and things like this that's going on. But I believe in diversification. I believe in bringing more minority-owned businesses in Midlothian. I truthfully believe more to having more voices when it comes to the village board, committees, and things of that nature. Again, I told you, change is upon us. Everybody's changing. I'm changing every day. We're getting a day older. You don't know what's going to happen until you wake up the next day. But we can control that change, and we can control that, not meaning we have control, but what we can do, instead of shutting doors down and having barriers, we can control it by saying, come in to the village of Midlothian. Embrace Midlothian. Uncontrolled change is something that you can't, you have no say-so.
Yeah.
We have a say-so. That's what I call about control. Let's turn our control knobs to, let's open the doors.
Yep.
A lot of people have great ideas, and I think that's I want people to vote for me. Open up the doors.
And then the last question we have, and this has been something that all the interviewees have been asked. What is your opinion on residents being able to raise chickens and or goats in Midlothian?
That's a great question. You know, I don't want to offend the vegetarians, but what are you going to do with the chickens and the goats? I don't know what the ordinances are now. I don't know how to change them. I think that if you have a certain size lot and you can get a variance on that, I'm okay with it. I think if people are doing the chickens, there's several communities, Downers or some, don't want to be misquoted, but you have a certain size chicken, you can allow 2 or 3 chickens. I know that there's limitations to doing that. I'm all for it. Of course, I think what I would do is I would get a variance. In other words, ask your neighbors if that's okay, because I know that you can have chickens. I would be against roosters.
Yes.
I don't necessarily want to be woken up every day with the rooster thing. So I'm okay with that. I think that some people put swimming pools in their backyard. Some people will, put volleyball nets in their backyard. And, I think it would be kind of a cool thing, to be honest with you. I'm all about it. As far as the goats go, that may be a different story. Because then again, you start, if you open up the door, okay, you can let 2 chickens in. And of course, now you got 12 because you didn't take the eggs. So now you got a goat. Now this goat has this, this goat has this. So that may be more of a agricultural type of thing. In other words, if something's labeled as an agricultural property, you got 3 or 4 acres, that would be okay with me. Again, I have patients that have pigs as pets. If that's your deal, that's your deal. I don't know what comes with goats as far as diseases. Then do you take your goats out for walks? Does the goat wear a diaper? You got the little dog thing, please pick up after your dog. You put out, please pick up after your goat. What if the goat gets out? I don't know. So what came first, the chicken or the goat? I'm gonna go with the chicken. Okay, the goat, that's up in the air, but I think there would have to be definite limitations on that. Now, if people have chickens and goats now, and they're not against, I'm a rule guy. If they're not against any ordinances, then grandfather them in, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't, again, we're talking about we can't build garages bigger than our homes. But what's next? I don't know. That's a good question. When I interview somebody, you usually ask them, if you had a superhero power, what would it be? That's a good question.
That is a good one.
What would be your superhero? I had I interviewed somebody who said, I would be invisible. Oh, that's somebody I want, If you're invisible, how do I know if you're there or not?
Yeah.
If it's somebody with x-ray vision, then I wouldn't have to invest in all those x-ray machines. Okay, that's great. We can use that. Or if you were a cookie, what kind of cookie would it be? That tells a lot about people, too.
Those are good questions.
They're good questions.
Might have to think of those for the Q&A ones.
Yeah, I tell you, if you run out of questions, just ask your people in your neighborhood, or go ahead, social media, ask people in different areas.
Yeah.
Because one neighborhood really is a good representation of whole Midlothian. You just get, what bothers people here may not bother people a mile that way.
Yeah.
And we have to make people understand, just because it's this way, it's different there. We have to understand their concerns if we're going to get something done.
Well, not only that, but you have residents that come to Midlothian from maybe Oak Forest or Crestwood or Robbins or anybody around us.
Right.
So what happens in Midlothian, I feel, is concerning to outsiders that surround us as it is to us.
When I lived in Oak Forest 14 years ago, I watched the Oak Forest Village Board meetings. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's not me. I'm not getting up there and screaming and doing this and doing that. That's not what Oak Forest people are all about. And then we don't want people to drive through Midlothian and not even know, you go from one town to the other and you go, did you know we went through Midlothian? Midlothian? No. We want people to remember Midlothian. We want people to know Midlothian. We want people to recognize that Midlothian has just not, little bakeries and cookie shops and, like some other villages on the north side have. But we want people to know Midlothian is the place to raise a family. It's safe. Community leaders are awesome. You can get involved. Get involved. The more you are involved, the best. If I could go back to high school, I would join everything. But back then, you just didn't join that. I stayed in the library.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I stayed in the library. But all the programs that we have in Midlothian, we've got to get more people involved in that. And I think that by reaching out to them, encouraging people to do that is great. Now, if that program's here, then they're here. But I'll be honest with you, after 13 or 14 years, I might get a newsletter once in a while.
Yeah.
You don't know it's there until you do it, right?
Absolutely. Ralph, what are your final thoughts, final statement? what do you have to say that maybe I didn't ask you that you want other
I
residents to
told you
know?
the story about Milwaukee. Can I tell that story?
Yes,
Can I really? Because it really means a lot to me.
yes.
Okay, so I had mentioned this story to Jessica about Milwaukee. So this is my final thought. Me and my wife went to Milwaukee one weekend. And you know, I like Milwaukee. It's an hour and a half away, whatever. They've got great restaurants. They got the Riverwalk. They got a nice theater, restaurant. So we're just strolling down the street one day, and I noticed this big, beautiful architectural building. The building's got to be over 100 years old. And so I saw this guy walking down the street, and he had a polka-dotted bow tie on. And don't judge anybody, but if anybody's going to know about this building, this guy's going to know. He looked like a young attorney, so I asked him about it, and he said, well, that used to be the post office in Milwaukee here, but now it's a federal building, federal court building. He said, you really have to go inside and see it. It's beautiful. And I like that stuff. Because when things have history, people that have history in Midlothian, those are the people to ask, because they got us where we're at today. And then this young gentleman knew what the future was. It's a federal court building. So we walk in there, and you got to check your bags. There's the police, federal guards are there. And they were so engaging. And he said, look at the atrium, but I'll tell you what, there is a citizenship service going on on the third floor. You got to see it if you've never seen one. So what this is, these are the people that have immigrated from other countries to the United States of America. And what they're doing is they're taking their final citizenship oath. And we open up the doors, and the place was packed. And the judge is going ahead, and he's introducing, if you're from this country, this country, this country, there's all these people that stand. There must have been over 120, 130 people there, and there's people that were supporting us. So me and my wife were crammed in the back of the room like this. And so the judge is going on, and he's saying that these people have given up their country of birth, to become American citizens. And as he had talked about it, he mentioned the different countries they came from, and he's answering questions that may have come up in the past. And obviously, this judge is very experienced, and he's talking about how wonderful it is that you had given this up. What a sacrifice! And you people that are American citizens right now, you don't understand the sacrifice, because you were born here in America. These people were born somewhere else. You don't understand the privileges and the rights that you have as an American citizen. And I'm going to tell these people right now that have given up their country, and he swears them in, and he said, welcome, you American citizens. And I tell you, I had tears dripping down my face. And then the judge went on to say, he goes, you know what, this isn't the land of gold and all this other stuff. This is the land of opportunity. What's nice about it is if you don't like something, or you feel unjust, or you've been unjust in America here, you have the right to vote. You have the right to change that. You may not have had that right of freedom of speech, or the freedom to vote, express yourself by voting where you came from, but you have that now. So if you don't like something, vote. And that's what I'm telling the people, not only nationwide, statewide, countywide, but in our village. If you don't like something, register and vote, because your vote counts. Whether you think it don't, it does. So that's all I want to say.
Awesome. And then going off of that too, it's so important for residents to know who they're voting for and to actually get out there. I know something we posted not too long ago was how many residents we have compared to how many people are registered compared to how many people voted. And, you know, being active on social media, you see so many people having concerns or complaints or questions, and that's being able to go and do something about it, a concern that you have, and voting in somebody or re-electing somebody that, you know, you believe is great for the community. There's no other way to do that than casting a vote.
You're absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. The people that, you know, whether you want to paint this wall white, people aren't going to like it. If you want to paint it black, the other people aren't going to like it. You're not going to please everybody. But my thing was, and that's what got me involved, instead of walking up and down my block saying, oh, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? So I have the opportunity to do this the best way I know how to do it, is to voice the opinion of the people. And if people complain about something and they don't vote, I'm not going to criticize you. You have the opportunity to vote.
Yeah.
That's important, because it goes back to this change thing. If you don't vote, it's going to change. So at least get your voice, get an opinion in there. So you have some control over what happens. Again, our best asset is our families. It's the people of Midlothian. And if you want to protect with what we have and how much better we can be, because again, remember, my grandkids say, Papa, why do you always want to do things better? Because unless we stop trying to make it better, then what do we become? We become docile, complacent, and then we let other people make the choices for ourselves. So if you don't want to vote, then don't complain when other people make the choices for you.
Yeah.
Go out there, and the best way to meet people, the best way to go ahead and know who represents you is to get involved. We're all busy. Husbands work, wives work, we've got kids, we've got businesses. But you know what? We have to make the time. Which I know some people talk more at the gym, or they talk more at Starbucks than they talk to the representatives. Right?
Yep.
And right now, they're going to say is that guy does do a lot of talking. But I hope that you all learned something from it. I want to thank you for listening. Again, if you have any concerns or questions you want to bring directly to me, you can contact me by Gmail, ralphjindds@gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to address those. If you want to meet me in person, we are CDC compliant here at our campaign office at 4724 Tiffany Plaza. I'll do it by appointment, and so just get me on the Gmail. If you know of anybody that wants to join our team and help out, volunteer work, I don't know if I can say that, but I guess I just did. Again, drop me off at Gmail. We'll appreciate all the help you can, because if you really feel the way I do, the way Karen feels, the way Jerry feels, and I'll let them express that, give us a hand. We can make this happen. So if that's it, I want to thank everybody. I especially want to thank you for taking the time out away from the kids and stuff like that. And I can't thank your organization enough for getting the word out. Because otherwise you're just voting for a smile, and of course we have masks on, so we're a little confused. I can't thank you enough. I think your organization is doing a great job, and hopefully we can talk together again.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate it. I'm going to end with stating that, and I know you just kind of went off this. I mean, you guys are pretty much applying for a job, and us as residents are the hiring manager.
Yeah.
So you, as a resident, get to pick and, who you want to vote for and who you want to bring in. So just go vote. And then the one thing I wanted to say was I am very, very, very appreciative of your responses and your transparency and everything from doing this interview and even going in the questions and answers. I think the first question you might have missed because I had issues getting in contact with you because of Facebook and everything else.
Right.
But as soon as I got in contact with you, you were very responsive. You've been very nice, very transparent, and I am very, very appreciative.
And you think, like you said, we're interviewing for a job. I'm interviewing with you. I'm answering your questions, but it's the people of Midlothian I'm interviewing with.
Yeah.
And if they just see a picture and say, vote for this guy, that's their choice, and I'll take your vote. But the fact of the matter is, I would rather have an informed vote, so you know what you're getting.
Yes.
So you're not getting a surprise, or I voted for that guy or that woman because of this, and that. No, and that's why I'm transparent, because I want to set the standards and I want to set the bar high, and I set it right now. This is what you get. I'm not going to change, but if I change, I'm going to change for the better, because that's what the people want. Change is coming. We can go ahead and adjust to that change easily if you vote for us. That's how I feel.
Awesome. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will end it here.
Brush and floss.